From 90 Day Fiancé, Vanja, she appears to have been ignoring warning signs in her relationship with Bozo prior to the 90 days. He had previously abandoned her. Could he repeat it? Vanja discovers her ex-fiancé is cheating in 90 Day Fiancé. Vanja is a diligent woman. She works as a professional permanent makeup artist, vegan baker, medicinal sales representative, and belly dancer. She acknowledges that she is a type A personality. She never stops, even though it is a lot of labor. She doesn't mind that she works day and night. The cast member of the 90-Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days exudes confidence in all facets of her life. But it's been a nightmare in terms of relationships and dating. According to Vanja, she believed she had met the man she would spend the rest of her life with 11 years ago. However, she was unable to determine what was causing the problems in their relationship. He was kissing another woman on the couch when she came home one day. It dawned on her then that he was leading a double life and that the entire relationship was a fake. Bozo and Vanja meet on a dating app. Vanja is a native of Bosnia. She therefore traveled back to re-establish a connection with her people, culture, and nation. She also visited numerous cities in Slovenia, Croatia, and Serbia during that tour. After that, she found herself in Split, Croatia. She matched with Bozo while using a dating app. It is revealed by the 90-Day Fiancé. Before the 90 days, castmate that Bozo is a highly accomplished basketball player. He is also quite attractive to her. She has never dated an athlete, though. Since it was time for Vanja to return to America, by the time Bozo answered her message, she was unable to meet him. However, they kept on talking on the phone. Bozo leaves a 90-Day Fiancé celebrity for a different woman. Vanja is traveling to Croatia to have her first face-to-face encounter with Bozo. There have been some warning signs in the relationship, though. She discloses that she was arranging a trip to meet him a few months into their relationship, when she began to observe that he was acting a little strange. He wasn't communicating with her or returning her calls. The 90-Day Fiancé. Prior to the 90 days, the celebrity receives a call from Bozo, who informs her that they are no longer able to communicate because he is dating someone else. She was heartbroken. Vanja acknowledges that Bozo did a horrible thing. She interprets that, nevertheless, as him being truthful. She also believes that he missed out on something amazing when he woke up. According to the TLC personality, Bozo texted her a few months later to let her know he was ending his relationship with the other woman, and said his goal was to improve their friendship once more. She is therefore giving him another chance. Is she disregarding the warning signs, though? Title: Love in the Shadows, Vanja and Bozo's Journey. Introduction. In the world of reality television, few shows have captured the complexities of love and relationships like 90 Day Fiancé. Among its many couples, Vanja and Bozo stand out as a particularly captivating duo. Their relationship is a roller coaster of emotions, marked by cultural differences, language barriers, and most importantly, red flags that Vanja seems to overlook in her pursuit of love. This narrative explores their 90-day journey, examining how Vanja navigates her feelings for Bozo despite the warning signs. Chapter 1. The Meeting. Vanja first met Bozo in a vibrant cafe in her hometown. He was a traveler, a free spirit, with a charming smile and stories that made her heart race. At first glance, he seemed perfect, adventurous, funny, and undeniably handsome. They spent hours talking, sharing dreams and aspirations. Vanja, a woman who had faced her share of heartache, felt an instant connection. But even in this enchanted setting, Bozo's character revealed flickers of uncertainty. He often joked about his past relationships in a way that felt dismissive. Vanja laughed it off, believing that everyone has baggage. Her optimism blinded her to the subtle signs of insecurity and emotional unavailability that would later complicate their relationship. Chapter 2. The Romance Looms. As their romance blossomed, Vanja was swept off her feet by Bozo's spontaneity. They embarked on weekend getaways and enjoyed long conversations under the stars. Vanja found herself falling deeply in love, envisioning a future together. However, the differences in their backgrounds began to emerge. Vanja was rooted in her family and traditions, while Bozo often shrugged off commitments, preferring to live in the moment. Friends and family raised their eyebrows at Vanja's infatuation, but she was convinced that love could conquer all. Despite the doubts, Bozo's charm often masked the underlying issues. He would casually dismiss her concerns, making her feel like she was overreacting. Vanja attributed this to his carefree nature and tried to embrace it, even as her gut told her something was off. Chapter 3. The First Signs of Trouble. As the 90-day timeline began, reality set in. Bozo's carefree demeanor turned into avoidance when conversations about the future arose. He would change the subject, laughing it off, leaving Vanja feeling unfulfilled and anxious. Friends noticed her growing frustration, but she insisted that love would find a way. One night after a long day of work, Vanja confronted Bozo about their relationship. Instead of a mature discussion, he deflected, accusing her of being too serious. Hurt and confused, Vanja retreated, convincing herself that his playful nature was just his way of coping with deep emotions. Chapter 4. Cultural Clashes. Cultural differences further complicated their relationship. Vanja's family traditions were deeply ingrained, while Bozo often struggled to understand their significance. He viewed her desire for family gatherings as a burden, and she perceived his lack of interest as a rejection of her heritage. During a family dinner, Vanja introduced Bozo to her parents. The tension was palpable. He made a few offhand remarks that, while meant to be humorous, fell flat. Vanja's heart sank as she watched her parents' disappointment. She felt torn between her loyalty to Bozo and her desire for familial acceptance. Chapter 5. The Red Flags. As the weeks progressed, Vanja began to notice more red flags. Bozo would often make plans and then cancel last minute, claiming work or other commitments. His friends would occasionally drop by unannounced, leaving Vanja feeling like an outsider in her own relationship. Vanja confided in her friends, who voiced their concerns. They pointed out Bozo's lack of commitment, his inability to communicate openly, and his disregard for her feelings. Yet each time Vanja tried to confront Bozo, he would weave his charm, making her feel like the problem was her insecurity, not his actions. Chapter 6. The Breaking Point. As the 90 days drew to a close, the pressure mounted. Vanja felt increasingly isolated, torn between her love for Bozo and her nagging doubts. On what should have been a romantic weekend getaway, a confrontation erupted. Vanja finally unleashed her pent-up frustrations, detailing her feelings of neglect and uncertainty. Bozo, caught off guard, reacted defensively. He accused her of not trusting him, of being too demanding. This conversation spiraled into a shouting match, revealing the deep-seated issues that had been festering beneath the surface. Vanja realized she could no longer ignore the red flags. She had to decide if love was enough to sustain their relationship. Chapter 7. Reflection and Decision. In the quiet aftermath of their fight, Vanja took time to reflect. She weighed her love for Bozo against the emotional turmoil he had caused. Could love really thrive amidst so many unresolved issues? She sought solace in her friends and family, who encouraged her to prioritize her well-being. Ultimately, Vanja came to a painful realization. Love is not merely about passion. It requires mutual respect, communication, and commitment. She understood that while her feelings for Bozo were real, they were not enough to overlook the fundamental incompatibilities in their relationship. Chapter 8. The Final Decision. With a heavy heart, Vanja made the decision to end the relationship. She recognized that she deserved someone who would embrace her culture and dreams, someone willing to face the challenges of love with her, not against her. In a tearful goodbye, Vanja expressed her feelings to Bozo. He was shocked, struggling to understand her choice. She emphasized that this was not an easy decision, but one made out of love for herself. Bozo's response was a mix of anger and sadness, leaving Vanja feeling both liberated and heartbroken. Conclusion: a new beginning. Vanja's journey with Bozo was a profound learning experience. While she had ignored many red flags in pursuit of love, the end of their relationship opened her eyes to the importance of self-respect and emotional intelligence. As she moved forward, Vanja embraced the lessons learned and focused on her personal growth. She remained hopeful that one day she would find a love that celebrated her entirely, one that welcomed her culture, her family, and the beautiful complexities of her heart. In the realm of reality TV and beyond, love remains a complicated yet beautiful journey, one that teaches us to value ourselves above all. This exploration of Vanja and Bozo's relationship highlights the challenges faced when love encounters red flags, serving as a reminder that true love should uplift and support, rather than confine or confuse. Love in the Shadows, Vanja and Bozo's Journey. Introduction. In the captivating world of 90 Day Fiancé, stories unfold that highlight the complexities of love, commitment, and the challenges that arise from cultural differences. Among these tales is the journey of Vanja and Bozo, a couple whose whirlwind romance is punctuated by Vanja's steadfast hope and Bozo's troubling red flags. This narrative delves into their 90-day experience, exploring the dynamics of love, vulnerability, and the lessons learned amidst turmoil. Vanja first laid eyes on Bozo during a vibrant summer festival in her hometown. He was a traveler, a whirlwind of energy and charm, exuding an infectious enthusiasm for life. They connected instantly, sharing laughter over street food and playful banter. Bozo's carefree spirit was intoxicating. He spoke of adventures across continents and dreams that spanned beyond the ordinary. For Vanja, who had navigated the rough waters of previous relationships, this was a breath of fresh air. Bozo's passion for life felt like a mirror to her own desires for adventure and exploration. Yet even in this enchanted moment, subtle hints of his complicated past began to surface. He joked about his previous relationships with a casualness that unsettled her, but she brushed it aside, believing that everyone has a story. As days turned into weeks, Vanja and Bozo's connection deepened. They spent weekends exploring local attractions, sharing late-night talks under a blanket of stars. Vanja felt a spark she hadn't experienced in years. Bozo was not just charming. He was also attentive in moments that mattered, and she was entranced by the idea of building a life together. However, as their romance blossomed, cultural differences began to reveal themselves. Vanja's family-oriented upbringing clashed with Bozo's free-spirited nature. He often spoke dismissively of traditions, viewing them as constraints rather than cherished customs. Vanja found herself torn between her burgeoning love for Bozo and her devotion to her family, feeling the pressure of balancing both worlds. As the 90-day clock started ticking, the cracks in their relationship began to show. Bozo frequently canceled plans, often at the last minute, citing work or other commitments. Each cancellation chipped away at Vanja's confidence, leaving her feeling undervalued. She began to notice that he would often change the subject when she brought up future plans, preferring to live in the moment rather than discuss their potential together. Vanja confronted Bozo one evening, hoping for clarity. Instead, he deflected her concerns, insisting she was overreacting. "You worry too much, Vanja," he said with a dismissive laugh, making her question her own feelings. She wished to believe that love could bridge their differences, even as her instincts urged caution. The cultural rift between them widened as time went on. Vanja's strong ties to her family were juxtaposed against Bozo's tendency to prioritize his independence. During a significant family gathering, Vanja introduced Bozo to her parents. The evening was fraught with tension. He made jokes that fell flat, failing to connect with her family. Vanja felt a wave of embarrassment wash over her, realizing how important acceptance was to her. "Why do you care so much what they think?" Bozo questioned later that night, his voice tinged with irritation. "We're not here to please them." Vanja was taken aback. This moment crystallized her fears. She was starting to doubt whether their love could withstand the weight of their differences. As weeks passed, the red flags grew more pronounced. Bozo would frequently dismiss her feelings, leading to deeper feelings of isolation. He had an air of confidence that bordered on arrogance, often making her feel small for expressing concerns. His reluctance to engage in serious conversations about their future was alarming, but Vanja was hesitant to confront it. Instead, she found herself rationalizing his behavior. "He's just different," she thought, trying to convince herself that their love could overcome these hurdles. Friends and family began to voice their concerns, prompting Vanja to question her own judgment. Yet each time she attempted to address the issues, Bozo's charm would sweep her off her feet once more. As the end of the 90 days loomed, Vanja's feelings of anxiety and doubt escalated. She felt trapped in a cycle of hope and disappointment, loving him yet feeling increasingly isolated. During a particularly stressful week, Bozo canceled their plans again, leaving Vanja feeling abandoned. Desperate for clarity, she finally laid her heart on the table. "I need to know where this is going, Bozo. I can't keep doing this," she pleaded, her voice breaking. Instead of engaging in a heartfelt conversation, Bozo retreated, accusing her of being too serious and not understanding him. Frustrated, Vanja realized she had been waiting for him to take her seriously, but he was not ready for that kind of commitment. The emotional disconnect was overwhelming, and she could no longer ignore the warning signs. The tension reached its peak one evening when Vanja invited Bozo over for dinner, hoping to spark a deep conversation. As they sat across from each other, the atmosphere was thick with unspoken words. Finally, she mustered the courage to confront him. "Why won't you talk about us? About our future?" Vanja asked, her voice steady yet trembling with emotion. Bozo's reaction was swift and defensive. "You think too much. Why do we need to talk about the future when we're having fun now?" He retorted, frustration evident in his tone. This exchange ignited a heated argument, revealing the cracks in their relationship. Vanja poured out her feelings of neglect and confusion, while Bozo dismissed her concerns, further deepening her sense of isolation. As they argued, it became painfully clear that their fundamental beliefs about love and commitment were misaligned. In the aftermath of their confrontation, Vanja found herself alone, grappling with her feelings. She took time to reflect on the tumultuous journey they had shared. While the passion had been intoxicating, the underlying issues could no longer be ignored. Vanja sought solace in her friends, who offered a safe space for her to voice her fears and doubts. "You deserve someone who values you," one friend said gently, planting a seed of doubt in her mind about the viability of her relationship with Bozo. Realizing that she had been compromising her own happiness, Vanja began to confront the truth about her relationship. It was clear that love alone was not enough. It required mutual respect, communication, and a willingness to navigate challenges together. With a heavy heart, Vanja made the decision to end the relationship. The thought was painful, but she understood that she deserved a partner who embraced her culture and dreams. When she finally mustered the courage to break the news to Bozo, he was taken aback. "You're giving up on us?" he asked incredulously, anger and sadness flickering across his face. "I'm not giving up on love, Bozo. I'm choosing to love myself," Vanja replied, tears streaming down her face. She emphasized that this was not an easy choice, but one made out of necessity. The conversation was emotional, marked by frustration and sadness, but Vanja stood firm in her decision. The days following their breakup were a mix of relief and sorrow for Vanja. She had freed herself from a relationship that felt more like a burden than a joy. Yet the memories of their time together haunted her. The laughter and the love they had shared felt bittersweet. Vanja poured herself into her passions, art, writing, and spending time with friends and family. She reflected on the lessons learned, acknowledging the importance of self-love and respect. Slowly, she began to heal, understanding that she had made the right choice for herself. As the months rolled by, Vanja's confidence grew. She embraced her identity, finding strength in her cultural roots. The experience with Bozo had taught her invaluable lessons about love, boundaries, and the importance of being true to oneself. Vanja's friends rallied around her, celebrating her journey of self-discovery. One evening, while out with friends, she met someone new. A kind and genuine person who respected her and her culture. They bonded over shared interests and values, and for the first time in a long while, Vanja felt hopeful about love again. Conclusion: a journey of growth. Vanja's journey with Bozo was a testament to the complexities of love. While she had ignored many red flags in pursuit of a dream, the experience ultimately shaped her understanding of what true love should be. She learned that love is not just about passion. It is about respect, communication, and a willingness to grow together. As she moved forward, Vanja embraced the lessons learned, hopeful for a future filled with love that honors her entirely. Her story serves as a reminder that navigating the intricate landscape of relationships requires self-awareness and courage. In the end, love flourishes where both partners are willing to meet, support, and uplift one another, paving the way for a future that celebrates both individuals fully. This exploration of Vanja and Bozo's relationship highlights the challenges faced when love encounters red flags, reminding us that true love